Let's do it.
Hey you. Cool. All right. Uh, Hello everyone. Yes, we are back with another episode of Orbit. I am Kurt.
I'm Trevor.
Yeah, and yeah, so we are going to cover essentially what's going on in GraphQL this week. So one thing I want to bring up real quick is I've been experiencing some issues with internet. We're getting some pretty bad storms in my area, so and I'm hosting the stream, so we'll see how this goes. Right now, things look good, but I will be closely monitoring the situation.
All right.
Yeah.
With that out of the way, we can probably dive into some news here shortly. I guess while we're being that we're at the beginning of the stream and everything, I hope you're having a good Easter over there, Kurt, and you had a nice weekend.
Yeah, we had a very, very busy weekend. And real quick, hey Aman and hey Ziori? GG? Xorg? I wonder how you pronounce that. I'm the worst at trying to pronounce these display
I
names,
think
but I
that's
give it a
Mark
shot
Hunter.
every time. But yeah,
That's
we had a good Easter, for sure.
cool.
You know, we took some Easter pictures, and then we did Easter egg hunts, like for the kids. Like I just hid a bunch of plastic eggs around the house, and
Fun.
then we did that like 5 times.
Nice.
Yeah, they really
Didn't get
liked it.
old.
No, oh no, no, they loved it. So I put
Amazing.
them in the bathroom and turned the fan on so it was loud so they can't hear, and then I'd go hide eggs all over the house. And then I
That's
would like open the door and hand them baskets, and they're like, "Whoa!" And then they're just running everywhere looking for the eggs. It was great.
Dang, 5 times. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it
Um,
was kind of intense. Yeah,
that's
but
fun.
it's really not that hard. Like by the third or fourth time, I'm just reaching into the basket and just like throwing handfuls of eggs into a room. You know,
Oh,
so
okay,
it's just
okay.
like
Yeah,
not like painstakingly placing each one each time. And each
yeah, yeah.
time it got like less and less, like presentable. Yeah,
Mhm.
but they didn't care either way. So
I remember when I was a kid, and at one point my dad lived in like an apartment complex, um, and yeah, he would painstakingly hide eggs, like plastic eggs, around the apartment, like all throughout the building, through the lobby, like outside, everything,
yeah,
and we'd go on like an hour and a half long Easter egg hunt. It was pretty crazy,
that's
but
cool. Yeah.
definitely we weren't locking ourselves in the bathroom and making him replace the eggs in that case. Thankfully for him, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my fond childhood memories of Easter there.
Yeah, and
Nowadays,
the
it's
kids love
a
it.
little different.
What were you saying there? I cut you off a little bit.
Nowadays it's a little different. There's no hiding or seeking of eggs in my life at the moment, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
managed to do some baking earlier.
Okay,
Made some butterscotch squares.
nice.
Picked up some baking from a friend as well. So there's lots of baked goods in my life.
Yeah, I did
But
some baking yesterday as well. Not like, from scratch baking, more of like taking the pre-made cookies and putting them on a sheet and putting them in the oven, but it still counts.
still counts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like no code but no ingredients, right? So it's
Yeah,
like I
it's like
just
the
laid them out and
for
then
sure.
put it in. I just deployed them and then they were,
Mhm.
that's it. It was done.
It's like the web flow of baking,
Exactly.
or the Dreamweaver of baking if we're gonna go there.
Dreamweaver, yes.
Do you think
Oh,
Webflow considers Dreamweaver a competition?
I don't know if
It's
they
just does
consider it
Dreamweaver even
competition.
exist?
Yeah, it definitely still exists. And
That's
yeah, it's way
sick.
different. I actually kind of like when I went to community college for graphic design, I used Dreamweaver. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I did too in college, but then my teacher pretty quickly suggested that we just use like a text editor, and
oh,
he was literally having us build PHP applications using TextEdit on Mac.
That's amazing. Yeah, I did the same thing on Windows, but it was like Notepad++.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like really where I started with the text editor.
The good old days. That was
Yeah, the good
before.
old days. Yeah, the first couple websites I did were just like purely handwritten HTML and
Wow.
CSS. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know. I was just like starting out.
Yeah.
And like I just had like dummy content. So like I did one on like animals. Like it was just like a website of like some fake zoo and all the animals they had.
Hmm.
It was cool.
Nice. I did one about in college. I had to build a website about pumpkins.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one of my first HTML forays.
Yeah,
I wonder if
pumpkins.
people
Pumpkins are cool.
still learn plain old HTML and CSS.
Oh,
I'm sure
absolutely.
I'm sure they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I think it's like kind of like foundational. I don't know. That's why I love web development because
Yeah.
the barrier to entry is an HTML file. Someone just showing you how an HTML file gets loaded into the browser and then like
Hmm.
points you at MDN, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Or free code camp.
Absolutely. Hmm. Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
I
Well,
guess yeah, we should probably switch gears
let's do it.
and talk about what everyone has joined us for, which is some GraphQL stuff.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. All right. Cool. One other thing I did this weekend, which I do want to note real quick, is I updated my blog and it uses
Oh,
GraphQL, so I feel like that counts. So I just want to take a look real
absolutely, that
quick.
counts. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Boom. So before it was like very cramped. Like I wish I had a picture or something to show, but the background gradient that's like around that border, it took up a lot more space. So I just like opened it way up. Awesome. Thank you, Aman. Yeah, it's coming along very nicely. I'm very happy with it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just has like more room to breathe. Looks a little better on mobile as well. And then, if anyone is interested, shameless self plug, I just released this blog post on my live streaming setup. So I cover
Oh,
everything
awesome.
from like, computer and what platform I chose, how I set up everything, how to support guests, streaming game consoles, and just like some stuff. It's pretty cool. It was like a lot, like a big brain dump. So
It's
I
very
don't know.
comprehensive. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was very hard for me to get going doing this, the streaming thing, and I like had to piece things together from everywhere. And I would have like loved to have had more guides like this. There's a couple, but I feel like you get more perspectives, and then like it helps you draw a bigger picture.
Hmm.
There was like a lot of confusion, a lot of little parts that like weren't filled in. So I'm hoping that this helps other people. Like certain things, like nobody really has any info on dealing with like your display resolution versus aspect ratios versus like how to use large monitors and like take all of that into account. And that's a huge pain in the butt.
True.
Something
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
really was a stumbling block for me. So I guess that's news and in GraphQL because it's Gatsby.
Hmm.
And oh, actually, speaking of GraphQL and Gatsby, I wrote a quick little source to pull in my quick tips from YouTube.
Sweet.
Yeah, so whenever I release a quick tip, it automatically site like builds and it adds it here. And I think it's looking pretty good.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I got, folks. The next step is the logo. I don't like that it's like white and everything else is colorful, so I want to figure out how to get the gradients in my logo as well.
Ah, nice. I think you could definitely do that using like an SVG
Yeah,
linear gradient
that's
mask.
exactly what I'm thinking.
I think the stream just is loading for me. Um,
Yeah, I'm dropping frames. I can see it. Good catch.
uh-oh. What's up, Dom? I see you in the chat. The stream
Unstable.
is
Live,
just
no delay, but it says unstable.
okay. Yeah, I can't. It's stopped for me.
Okay, I mean, technically we are live again.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it is
It
back.
appears
We
to be
are
live.
back. So,
Nice.
just in case we start to degrade again, I'm having bad weather where I live currently, and I'm hosting the stream. It's been affecting my internet connection. Screen is still frozen though. That's fun. It doesn't say I'm dropping anything. Uh,
Hmm. Like the
but we'll
screen
have to.
as in everything is frozen or
Yeah.
just
Well,
the window? I
I
can
believe.
we're moving for me.
Yeah, I think it's just the stream output that is um, still
Oh,
frozen. And so that's what I mean. Like like our video is perfectly fine. So I'm not sure if it is an issue on my end, but it seems like it is.
could just be that you're not like we're not moving the screen, you know?
Oh, yeah, but I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. Is it
Maybe
frozen
give it a
like
scroll and
black
I'll
or
let you
is
know.
it frozen like
There you
uh
go. Yeah, we're moving. We're moving.
oh,
We're
cool.
good. We're good.
All right. Man, confusion. Okay, we
Yeah.
just weren't moving. Yeah, so just
Very
freeze. Don't.
statuesque. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to be less of a statue. That's so funny. Okay. Yes, so we are back. But yeah, it might cut out. If it cuts out again, I don't know. We'll see how far we get. We'll try one or two. But either way, we'll finish recording it and upload it, and I'll drop all the links in the chat of anything that we
Yes.
would cover. Sound
Weather be
reasonable?
damned.
Yeah, weather be damned. Yeah, but yeah. All right, so let's see.
But yeah,
Let's,
Kurt, you were just talking about your quick tips page that
oh,
sources nodes from YouTube. That's really interesting to me. I was
oh yeah, sure.
wondering if you could talk more about that.
Yeah, well, better than just talk about it. Why don't we look at some code, right?
Yes, let's. And when you said that you made a Gatsby source for it, did you also like
No,
publish like a source plugin?
I did not.
Okay,
There is one that exists, but I just wanted to do something very specific that it didn't really look like was supported. So if I were to do
I see.
anything, I would open up an issue and see if this is why is my window not moving? There we go. Something that they would like added to the project before I like did a whole new version. You know what I mean?
I see. Okay.
And it could just be that maybe I couldn't figure it out in a timely manner. Um, but like I could always go back and look to see how to do it with that. So the thing is because like I didn't see anywhere where you could specify a playlist ID. So like you can pull videos from YouTube, but I didn't see how to specify just a particular playlist. And so like this is the
Okay.
ID of my quick tips playlist, right? And so essentially, what I'm doing is I'm using just like YPI, which is like a YouTube um, playlist like library, I guess, to pull them in. And I'm passing in my YouTube key and my playlist ID, and I map over. It froze again. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, it's frozen on my end too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm dropping that frames.
What the
And once they
heck?
start going, they just keep going. Like it gets exponentially worse. All right, ending stream.
Weird.
I'm gonna lower bitrate and
Okay.
see if we can get maybe like a medium quality stream out. It's still gonna record it full. Okay, so we should be back live. We're trying slightly lower quality stream, but still recording all of this at HD quality. So I'll definitely get this cut up and uploaded if it goes. Yeah, so whew, I keep forgetting what I'm talking about because we keep
We're talking
getting.
about quick tips, sourcing quick tips from YouTube, and
Yes,
specifically sourcing from videos in a playlist.
yes, thank you. Yeah, so yeah, there was really no way to do it, particularly from a playlist. So the library that I found, there's actually two of them already, which is why I was like, um, I don't want to like add to this madness. Source YouTube, right? There's YouTube and YouTube V2. V2 seems to be the one that is used the most.
Okay.
Boom, boom. And so it definitely lets you do channel ID, which can be an array of channels. You could do your API key and the max videos, but I don't
Oh,
want
cool.
all of them, right? Like, and then I don't
Hmm.
want to filter by channel ID. I want them to come from a playlist. I didn't see that you could filter by a playlist ID either, right? So here's the schema.
Right.
So there's nothing playlist related. So what I would do which I'm thinking about. If I get the time, is instead of making another one, I would ask if they're interested in supporting specific playlists or arrays of playlists as well, and then I would just kind of update this package and make a PR.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on my list. It's in
Cool.
my notes to get to. So we'll see. But yeah. So I just threw it together on my own to see if it would work. Um, just like, well, of course it works, but like I haven't made custom sources in a while, so it was just like fun to mess around in Gatsby Node for a little bit.
Very
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, and so then we just take the videos. Well, we don't just. We take the videos, we map over them, and we form an ID, and then we make a node. So Gatsby has the idea of a data node, and that represents, like one, like, essentially entity of data within your schema. And so, yeah, so that is how we create them. And then if we go to the quick tips page, what I'm doing real quick is I'm just getting all YouTube video, or I'm getting all YouTube video, 10. I only want to show like 10, and then I have a link at the bottom that's like more on YouTube, because it could get like so long, and then I'd have to like have a solution for loading thumbnails instead of the actual embeds, because it would take too long and like all that stuff. So it's more about me being lazy, being the worst dev, than it is about anything else.
How fitting.
Exactly, how fitting. Yeah, and so I grab the nodes, and boom, done. And so if we look at that in code, it's not too much going on. So we're just mapping over these videos, and then we're putting in the embed, the description, and the images. Yeah, and
awesome.
That gives us quick tips. And it's a pretty low quality thumbnail, which is good, and that's fine. So first I had them very big, and it was like over the title and the description, but it looks much better side by side like this.
Yeah, this looks great, man.
Yeah, it's more
nice
digestible.
Job.
Thanks. Yeah, so that's a wrap on that. But yeah, I'm very happy.
Cool. Potentially coming to an upstream PR near you in the future.
Yes, Gatsby Source YouTube V2. Be on the lookout, because it is a coming. Yeah, it's not too much level of effort. I already went through the source code. It's now just a matter of me like forking the project, getting it set up, making sure I have the local environment set up, adding it.
Oh, it's a process.
Testing. Yeah, it is a process, and I just don't have that time yet. But I have looked at the source code, and it does look like I could add it relatively quickly as far as that work part of it goes. So yeah, it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I guess getting into it. Oh, and real quick, I would like to know, I forgot to do this in the beginning, if anyone on the stream has anything that they found interesting, and like it doesn't have to be from like last week, just something recent that you've seen that's really cool, drop a link in the chat and we'll take a look at it. And with that, aboard. Oh man, see, the stream failing has got me like all messed up. I even got a soundboard going, so I thought that would be fun.
Nice. Let's what sounds do we have queued up so far?
We have a bunch of stuff, but like when the show was starting, I was supposed to play this one.
Orbital phase initiated.
I thought it was pretty clever.
Love it.
Right? That's pretty funny. And then I just have like other stuff that would be good. So like if someone does something or says something, we've got some applause that we can do. We've got like drums, sad trombone, like a drum roll, like it's pretty fun, right?
Damn, dude, production value. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, sorry about all the
our timing, our comedic timing has to be on point for this to work.
Yeah, exactly. I have to like remember that it exists, so I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm the last step is to hook it up to Stream Deck so that I can just press the buttons to. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this.
Let's jump in.
Yeah. So the very first thing, which I'm super excited about, Trevor, which I was hoping that you could walk us through, is the new. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that ain't right. Is my blog. Hey, is the new blog. Wait, this is the old blog.
Go to the link in the doc.
That's what I thought I was on.
Oh, I made an update to it. Maybe it didn't
Oh,
show
I
up.
see it. Well, it's interesting because I think you changed the text, but the underlying
Oh, the
link
link. Yeah, I see.
that's wild.
So yeah,
Okay.
the our new blog
Ta-da!
can be found at apollographql.com/blog,
Which I have
which
now.
is different than our last link. Posted a link
Yes.
in chat. Yeah, please check it out. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But just to talk a little bit about the new blog, what we're building it with, and why we decided to build it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, well, first of all, our old blog was on Medium. Medium has, in recent years, implemented some pretty um, contentious policies around how much unauthenticated or unpaying users can read,
Yeah.
and that's something that we don't like.
Uh-uh. We don't like
We
that.
want to be able to provide as much useful information, and we don't want to have any impose any caps or limits on this, and we especially don't want to do so um, in the interest of like padding Medium's pockets. Or encouraging people to open up incognito tabs in their browser, which is
Right.
really a quite a hilariously simple way of getting around their paywall. But you know, all Medium gripes aside, we also wanted a site where we had full creative control. We had control over our SEO. We had control over our calls to action, and really like dial in a blog that was truly Apollo. So that's what we have now. We have this beautiful new blog. It's built using Gatsby, which is a tool that we've used for a bunch of other web projects over here at Apollo, including our docs
Yeah.
and our public website. And and we decided to try using WordPress as a content management system. You know, there's plenty of content management systems kicking around that work really well with Gatsby. WordPress is one of them, and we decided to go with WordPress um, for a familiarity advantage, as well as having a really nice experience integrating with Gatsby. So
Nice.
um, yeah, and speaking a little bit on the familiarity side, segues are on point today. We One of the things that we want to encourage with this new blog, or in the Apollo blog land moving forward, is community posts. So we want to. Uh,
Oh.
oh, that's interesting. All right,
Yeah. Look at
that's
that.
something that I can fix. Yeah, we want to encourage posts from our community, and if you have something that you want to blog about and you want it to be featured on the Apollo blog, please get in touch with us. We have a post here called "How to Contribute to the Apollo Developer Blog" that will give you everything you need to know to do so. So please don't be shy. If you have a cool idea or a story to tell, uh,
Yes.
let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And even has like, if you don't even have a fully fledged idea, but you still like are interested in writing, we'll help you figure it out. Like we have listed here some great topics as well, and if you just get in touch and get the ball rolling, we'll help you find a topic that you enjoy talking about. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Heck
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm really stoked about the blog. I hope the community is stoked about it too. It's
I
nice to
am.
be off Medium, and I can tell you that the new blog is snappy. It's attractive, and yeah, we're all really stoked about it. So it officially launches tomorrow, but as you can tell, there's still a few little kinks to work out. Um, and I'm going to be doing that today, getting us all prepared and ready for the launch. But as viewers of our stream, you guys get to have the inside look at the blog before it launches.
Yeah,
So
the
enjoy.
inside scoop. Yeah, but yeah, we would love any feedback. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I'm
thanks,
super
Glenn.
excited about
Appreciate
this.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am so excited about this blog. I think it looks beautiful. I like that we have more control
Hmm.
and more things that we can do outside of like what Medium gives you. Um, Hopefully, it can be a better process to submit content. And I'm all about helping people in the community be successful. That's my jam. So, yeah, I hope that this is a big improvement from Medium.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Should we take a look at GitHub real quick? Do you think it's worth looking at how this thing was built?
Sure, yeah, I'm down to do that. So if you just go to github.com/apollographql/blog, all the source code for the blog is right there. So if you're
Blog?
curious and you want to poke around, just /blog, yeah.
Ah,
Um,
that's not good.
just
I mean, you
go.
can't
You can
really
just
see
go
anything, but let me go
remind me
over here
later, I
and
guess.
deal with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Confirm. Yeah, it didn't say anything bad. That's good. Cool.
GitHub's got your back.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Ooh,
like I was
no
saying,
stars yet.
no
Aw,
stars.
I'm the first. I
Nice.
Cool. All right.
I'm the
Yeah.
second. Let me get
Take
in there.
take me through. Take me on a
Sure.
trip.
So, yeah, for the curious coder, you can just kind of like find your way around here. If you're familiar with Gatsby sites, this should all be pretty familiar to you. But if we open up the Gatsby config, I think that tells a bit of the story. We're going to look
Nice.
at the Gatsby config and the Gatsby node file. So in here, there's one main plugin that drives the whole thing is Gatsby Source WordPress. This is an
Okay.
official Gatsby plugin that actually it hits the WordPress REST API to generate like nodes based on your WordPress data.
Got
So
it.
so that's what we're doing. We get all of our post nodes, all of our menu configuration.
Wow.
Um, everything is coming from WordPress, so that facilitates that connection. And then below that, we have Gatsby Plugin Sharp and Gatsby Transformer Sharp, which allow us to. It basically creates local copies of all the image nodes that get sourced from WordPress,
Okay.
which is really useful. That means
Yeah.
that we are when we load images on our site, they're loaded from the static site itself and not from WordPress, which is
Yeah.
typically what would happen. Um, so that was another sort of big piece of the
That,
pie there. And now if we move
that's
over
awesome.
to Gatsby Node, we can just see how we're creating all these pages. This is,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, the last thing there while we're in Gatsby config is pointing out
Yeah.
we're using this Elastic Lunar search plugin. So at build time, we create an index of all the content on the site, and we use Elastic Lunar to make those queries on our search page.
Which is really cool because like this is saying on the WordPress post type, like get these properties off of the nodes, off each node, and then it's going to index them for title and content. Is that essentially what
Yeah,
I'm getting
exactly,
there?
exactly.
But it will
Yeah,
also store these other data points so that in the search results you can have like more information available.
yep, you got it.
All right, very cool. That's awesome. Sorry, I like Lunar. I used it on my like last version of my blog, and it's gonna get to the point where I need search pretty soon, so I'm gonna use Lunar again. So now you've just showed me how. So thank you.
Cool.
I could just switch the resolver type to like my MDX type, and I'm basically done. Okay,
Hmm.
very cool. Huh. So that's awesome. So, oh yeah, Gatsby Node. Let's go check out Gatsby Node. Boom.
So in Gatsby Node, what we're doing is um, we'll get back to this create resolvers part at the top in a
Mm-hmm.
second. But in create pages,
Oops.
that is the real interesting part. So what I do at the beginning is just create or I execute a GraphQL query against my local Gatsby data graph. I'm asking for all posts. I want all categories except for the one called uncategorized, um, and I want all users. And I'm going to be making three types of pages here. So first is each of the individual post pages.
Ooh.
Uh,
Okay.
so that's the first loop you see here. So I'm saying for each post, create a post page, simple and straightforward.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
the next thing I'm doing is I want to create category pages. So I want to create one page per category, and then or one set of pages per category, because each category may have tons and tons of posts. So I want to have them paginated. So the way to go about that is I set some constant in here. In this case, it's page size,
Okay.
which I've just set to 10. That's my desired length of each page. And then I divide up the categories into groups of 10
Okay.
uh, and loop through all those. So that's what you see there. And what I'm doing is providing the current page size as a limit
Okay.
property on the context,
Ah, and then skip.
and in my skip property is the page size times the current page index. So at page index 0 or page 1, we're not skipping any. It's 10 multiplied by 0. We're not skipping anything. On page 1, we're skipping 10 multiplied by 1,
Okay.
and so on and so on. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, that makes sense.
those properties get used in my category page query, where I'm asking Gatsby via a GraphQL query to give me all posts for this category, but limited to this number,
And
which is
skip
10,
the.
and skipping the ones that I've already rendered. So
Got it.
that's pagination in category land. And now the next section is my author pages. So I also mentioned that I was grabbing all the WordPress users, which in this case are
Yeah.
blog authors, and we're just creating one page per user, and they get if you go over to the blog and you click on anybody's profile image, you'll see exactly what that looks
Very
like.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So in this case, Sean has one post,
Right.
but this will just render all the posts that a user has. And then finally, the last block there I have is our post archive. So once again, I'm actually going through for basically saying for all of the pages that I have to render, all the pages of posts,
Yeah.
just render a page, and doing the same convention of passing in a limit and a skip value, and then relying on the
The
page
template.
template to run the query.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. That's genius. That's great. That's a great way to handle pagination. I love it.
Cool. And then the last thing I'll mention is if you scroll back up to the top, I'm using the Gatsby create resolvers API. And Gatsby is, as I'm sure many people know, if you don't know, they leverage GraphQL behind the scenes pretty heavily, and they
Yeah.
expose this API for creating custom resolvers based on other fields that exist in your graph. So what I wanted to do here is associate uh, the a user's avatar with a local WordPress media node. So as I
Ah,
touched on in the WordPress or in the Gatsby config, I'm using the Sharp plugin to
yep,
create local nodes for each WordPress image that gets sourced.
yeah,
And the node type for those WordPress images is, as you see here, WordPress WP Media. And all I'm doing here is saying I'm creating an avatar field under my user ACF, which is
yeah.
advanced custom fields. I realize now we're getting into the weeds here, but I swear the resolution will be soon.
It's about to round out. Yeah,
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 and all I'm doing here is saying, uh, I'm running a query for WordPress Media whose ID matches the source avatar ID, which is a value that I'm getting back from WordPress. It's just the ID of the media node that's associated with that avatar, so that then I can make that connection just on my front end schema at build time, and that's really
yeah.
the long and short of it. So I'm associating nodes in WordPress. And then the second resolver that I'm making is doing a similar thing, but it's associating a like a post call to action with a specific call to action type that I've created in WordPress as well.
Got it. Yeah,
So yeah, this create resolvers API is really useful for making these kind of connections between nodes at build time. If, for example, the reason that I had to do this is because Gatsby source WordPress wasn't giving me the the data for these fields in the format that I expected. For example,
right.
that avatar, the user avatar field, I was getting back a media ID. There's not much I can't render a media ID in a image tag, so I had to make this special connection for that case, and same thing for the CTAs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so just to recap, like to make sure I'm understanding this clear,
Sure.
essentially what you're doing in this case on line 20 is on the WordPress post ACF. It doesn't currently exist. You're creating a new field called CTA. And
Exactly.
so then this field is going to be of this type, WordPress WP CTA, and then
Hmm.
this is the resolver that is responsible for handling sourcing that field.
Exactly.
Cool.
When somebody requests the CTA field on the WordPress post ACF type,
Yeah.
that resolve function is run, and I'm essentially grabbing a node of type WordPress WP CTA, as you mentioned.
Okay. And so then the last thing is this first only, does this mean it only needs to be generated one time and then like the query and then just use the result of that in each substantial
What
request, or
this
do you
is,
know?
what first only is doing is so by default, run query will output an array of
Oh,
results
a
that
collection.
match your
Got it.
filter. And
Got
first
it.
only is useful for cases like
Yep.
this where I'm matching for
You know.
equality on an ID, and I
Yep.
know that if there's going to be a match, there's only going to be one. So I'm asking for the first element of that array, which is going to be either
Yeah.
something or undefined.
Okay. Got it. That
Yep.
makes perfect sense. Mhm.
Anyway,
Cool.
that was a deeper dive than than maybe anybody expected to get, but that's kind of the guts behind the blog at a glance. Um, it's really not that complicated or intimidating once you really get into it, and Gatsby has lots of really good resources about all of these APIs and plugins and conventions that you've seen. So if you're curious, definitely don't hesitate to jump in there. Um, like I said, all the source for this blog is open. You can check it out, poke around. If you notice something that's broken, you're welcome to submit a PR.
Yes.
Would definitely welcome that. But yeah, if you're considering using this kind of structure for your own website, I would definitely encourage you to check it out and um, yeah, see what you can find within this code base.
Yeah, and then one final note is I just like that now it's using WordPress because the ecosystem for WordPress is gigantic. Like you could do anything with WordPress.
Anything.
Um, anything. And so, you can still have your own custom shiny front end and still take advantage of the 20 plus years of like ecosystem of WordPress that exists, right? Or
Hmm.
like teens plus. How old is WordPress now? It's got to be like
I think
almost
it's
20
probably close
years.
to 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah.
it feels that old anyway. Yeah, and that's a part that we didn't even touch on. But it's important to reiterate that the all the front end for the blog is written in React, which is a framework that I'm particularly comfortable and familiar with, and I know a lot of people in our
Yeah.
org are also comfortable and familiar with it as well, which is just a huge added bonus. Where if we want to add features to the blog, it's relatively trivial.
Yeah.
Anybody can jump in and feel productive right off the bat, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. That's very cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Um, awesome. So the next thing that I had on my list was
Try and tell the problem
this
discovered.
talk. Oh, I guess you could tell I was already watching it. But yeah, it's from GraphQL Asia, and it's a peek at the future of GraphQL. So we're not gonna like watch the whole talk right here. It's like 40 minutes long. But I thought it was a really good talk, and I'm trying to find. Well, he goes over like a lot of the principles and ideas behind GraphQL, and then so what does the future look like based on where we've come from, where we're at right now, and what are the next steps. So it's really cool. It's a very fun talk. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely had me thinking about GraphQL. So yeah, check it out. I should drop the link.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I might have to have that playing in the on my side screen today while I fix the Apollo blog search bug.
Yeah, search. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it's a good talk. I highly recommend it. I was listening to it the other night when I was working on my blog.
Right on.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What
Um,
else do we have? I have a feeling we have one more big announcement.
yeah. Actually, we do have another big announcement. And it's something that I'm particularly excited about because this was something that I dealt with a lot at Major League Soccer. That I wish we had had a solution like this in place. And so what I'm talking about, enough of the lead up, is in Apollo Graph Manager now you can get schema change notifications like sent out to whatever service you want, right? So here we're looking at Slack, and so just knowing, like having a place to monitor and check when the schema changes and like know what changes happened is very convenient, right? And oftentimes can help alleviate a lot of problems. So like we went to GraphQL very quickly, and we had a schema that was like developing, and so it was like more about things becoming available and like letting other people know when things had become available, like outside of our ticketing system, like Jira issues. This would have been fantastic for like product managers, engineering managers, even developers on the teams and designers. A lot of good use cases for this, and I would have loved to have had it. And that was like almost 2 years ago. So I'm so glad to see this. What do you think about it?
I think it's awesome. I'm excited to see what people do with it.
Yeah.
Um,
This opens up a whole
like one
door for
thing
tooling as well. Like,
it does, yeah. There's a whole other kind of like angle that maybe this is not the intended use at all, but for authors and consumers of public APIs,
yeah.
it would be really
Oh,
interesting to be able to, as a developer, I want to subscribe to schema change notifications
like a
to
change log.
the SpaceX API or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Like
GitHub
if
API or whatever.
sure, if there's like a or even do it in a more granular way. I don't know if this is at all possible. So I don't want to speak out of turn here, but if I know that there's a particular field that I'm interested in using in the future, it's not ready yet, but I want to be notified when that field lands in the schema. I might want to subscribe to notifications for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just it seems like another cool angle that's outside of probably the intended use case, but jumps to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see what else comes from that, because like we said, it's going to open up a lot of interesting doors. And I've been thinking about like what other useful information would I love to see about like dealing with data structure changes.
Right. Yeah.
Like so like this, like one thing that I think of here is like this is kind of a fire hose, whereas like all the changes come through. But I could also see a world where like if there was like things that you really don't want to change or you want to know about, being able to subscribe to like particular subsets of the graph, and those. So like if I work in, I don't know, like my team does payments, like I might not care as much about some of the other changes as I do with like things going on within that section of the graph.
Got you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Marc-Andre. Appreciate it. Yeah, it would that does sound pretty cool. Let's click on that link, Kurt. Developers.github.com. Their GitHub API changelog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Upcoming changes, deprecations in Slack. Yeah, it would be awesome. That would be amazing. Let's blow this up a little bit. Boom. Yeah. So GraphQL schema changelog is a list of recent. Nice.
So I guess what Marc-Andre is talking about is not just notifying on things when they change, but
Like-
somehow being able to push notifications about upcoming
Yeah.
changes as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like
I like that.
deprecations and stuff. Yeah, that's.
I wonder if there's like a heuristic that somebody could use to do that, because right now, as I understand it, it's all like Graph Manager is the source of truth
Yes.
for all this, and as I understand it, we don't push changes to our schema to Graph Manager until they're like official schema changes. I don't know if there's like the concept of like a pull request in
There is.
in the land Graph Manager. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, there is. So like, you could definitely like have these changes in like a testable kind of like scenario where they're added, and then that is not your public schema. So they're called variants, like different variants of the schema, and you can decide which variant of your schema is pointed at. Essentially, like production, like is the current version. Yeah, yeah. Which defaults to just
really
current, actually, for like your services and stuff like that. Yeah. So you could definitely do that. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, so does anyone else have anything else that they have found that seems interesting? Because I think that's it for my list. Like, honestly, I didn't have as much time as I would have liked this week to look for interesting things that happened. I just had a lot going on this past week.
It's all right. Slow news week, dude.
Yeah, it's not news week, but there were still enough interesting things that I felt like it was worth sharing with the community.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. So here's one thing that I like to do. Let's just go here and see what's going on Twitter with GraphQL. But let me blow this up so everyone can see this. So now, wow, you're going to be exposed to like what they think are my top results for GraphQL. I'm curious to see. All right.
They.
Yeah. So there's someone talking smack on web components. Poor web components. They get a bad rap. Ooh, GraphQL, the big picture. Not familiar with that. Let's see. Oh no, that's terrible, Austin. Hey, if you see this, and you need a developer, hit up Austin here. All right, let's see. Ooh, we looked at this. Yeah, didn't we look at this last week?
We did, yeah. This was on our show last week.
Yeah, if this
Look
looks
at it being
interesting.
so current.
Yeah, so it's like a full stack deep dive. It was really cool. It had a bunch of different sections, and I like how they built from start to finish, like adding the complexity. It's in the last episode of Orbit. So yeah, and here I'm just gonna copy the link and drop it here in the chat. But yeah, we talked about it and went over it, and that's on YouTube. So if anybody wants to check it out, go check that out.
Great.
Yeah. Ooh, PayPal checkout integrations is hiring.
Oh, all right. Get on that. Oh, hey, the next post actually highlights maybe something that
Ooh.
we can at least just mention is last week we had, as we had alluded to earlier in today's episode,
Oh,
a
how did I
community
miss this?
post.
I would have added this to the list. Well, I'm
It's
so
all
glad
good. We're
that
here
we
now.
have it now. That's amazing. Oh man, I need to start checking like the content. Let's go take a look. Short posts on how to use Apollo Link to deal with dependent queries. I'm kind of interested. You want to take a quick look?
Open it up.
Let's do it. So it's so different though, because this is medium still. So I'm like thrown off.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening. That's plenty
Tomorrow.
big, right?
Tomorrow, dude.
I know, tomorrow.
Yes.
Just a day away. All right. If you're using GraphQL and Apollo, to build an app, sooner or later you'll run into cases where there are queries that depend on each other. Yeah. Yeah, this happens all the
True.
time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this can happen for all kind of stuff. Like you can't know what you need to get until you know like a previous like data point. If you're doing like shipping, I don't know, like you can't do cities until you know what state. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay, so ideally all information for the profile screen would have been provided, right? But with the backend by developers in a separate galaxy, man, you must have good internet. Oh wait! Can I get to it in time?
Hey.
I gotta get way faster with that.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. We're new. We're
new. We're working on it. Okay, so yeah, one query. Yeah, that'd be nice. The problem. Here we go. Code. User's profile screen needs to run two queries. One to get the user's information and their planet IDs. Okay. And the other to get the planet information. Interesting.
Okay. I've run into this kind of issue before.
Yeah, it's
Relatable.
It is relatable. Okay.
All right. So let's see. We don't want to do the extra work to grab the planet ID from the first query and then pass it to the second one. So option one is to update your GraphQL server to just like resolve a planet type on the user, which is what this code
Which
implies.
is funny because I was going to say like that's kind of what I would expect, right? It's like, okay, so clearly there's a connection here between planet and a user. We should probably just draw that relationship. So I'm interested. I want to keep going. If it doesn't make sense to nest the queries, okay, but take advantage of context. Interesting. So maybe there is a situation where it just doesn't make sense to have them connected. Or maybe, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Such as their planet ID. Yep, by taking advantage of context, you can create a query like this one. My planet.
I see.
Okay, now I get where you're going. Okay, notice how this time they didn't even have to pass planet ID, right? Which makes sense. Option 2 gets.
So the idea is that it would be an authenticated query where a user would be identified
Yeah.
before the resolver chain even kicks off. So every resolver would have access to the user that made the query,
Yep.
and they would be able to draw that user's planet ID from
Itself off of
context
that. Yeah.
and resolve the appropriate planet.
Which makes sense. So this is something that, like a pattern that I also use for authorization, which comes in handy by passing their scopes, right? On context, you can wrap your resolver and check context for the proper scopes, and if they don't have them, then you can error out, and the resolver never even runs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, option 2.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. We're getting the response from one query and then passing it along to the other. Let's take a look at what this code looks like.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Oh, notice how everyone's getting on the. It's starting to become like pretty common to see optional chaining inside of code snippets. I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way, the time when we used optional chaining in the last episode of Launchpad was the first time I've ever used it in my life. It's pretty big deal.
Yeah, actually,
I didn't realize that we could use it using the like default Gatsby Babel config.
Yeah,
you can.
I believe the Gatsby Babel config that it uses is like the polyfill that, using it everywhere now. Yeah, that was actually my first time as well, like actually having a use case and using it, like since it's been released or added. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I just thought of a perfect place for me to use it in one of my personal projects.
Ooh.
I just sorry, something that I'm gonna keep in mind for later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really helps with working with data responses. That was another issue that I hit at MLS, was like a lot of properties were nullable, like because like before a match had started, like information became available over a given period of time, so like a lot of things could not be present, and so we had to have a lot of these functions that would just like be doing these safe checks on the data to see like what was available and what wasn't, to put the UI into the right state and make sure we didn't access things that weren't there yet.
Yeah. X and X Y and X Y Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Max? Good morning, and nice to see you as well,
Hey,
Pancakes.
good morning. Bum. Mermaids, unicorns, and optional chaining. Yes. Yes. I love optional chaining now. I'm a huge fan.
They're the next big mythical creature.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Okay. Yeah, and so wow, we really like went on the optional chaining rabbit hole. I forgot what we're doing. Oh yeah. So here's what it would look like. Ooh, skip. This was also something we used to take advantage of, but neither here nor there. Yeah, so another common situation. Yeah. Case like that, you need to get results from one query and pass them as a variable to the second query.
Right.
Like this.
So we're getting the data from the first query, grabbing the planet ID from the first query, and then passing it to the second one, asking for planet data. But this skip line that Kurt has highlighted is important. This is saying that if planet ID is falsy, so if it's like null or undefined,
we
don't run this query.
Bail. Yeah.
Cool.
The profile info query runs. You want to hear of a neat way where we use this at MLS real quick? I'm sorry,
Yeah, please.
We had like modals that would pop up with like the player's info, but you could get there from a bunch of different ways. Sometimes you would just have the ID, and sometimes you would have the rest of the information. If you just had the ID, it would like load, like go get it. But we would skip if we already had the data because we didn't need the data, and then we could like load the modal like super instant.
I see you. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I like
we
that.
just pass it along very easily. So if it was there, we don't need to run the query.
Exactly.
But if it was like a deep link, right, to a particular player from something outside, we would then, based off the ID, go get the player.
Got you. That's cool.
Yeah, it was. It was cool. Yeah, it's a nice way to use skip. So skip is fun, folks. Think of fun ways to use it. All right. So let's see. Okay, option 3. Use Apollo link to automatically read the value from the previous queries and pass it to dependent queries. That's
Okay.
cool. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Thanks for the following, HT Johnson. Thanks
Yeah.
for the follow, HT Johnson. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for a follow. Bum, bum, bum. I don't think I heard that. I might have my settings. Something weird might
Oh,
be happening. Did you hear a notification?
I have
Oh,
I
you
have
didn't, right?
everything muted. Yeah,
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I wonder if
just
anyone
very
else heard it.
observant. So.
All right. Okay. So, according to documentation, Apollo links are chainable units. Yes, they are. Observables. Dun, dun, dun. Right? That's what makes that possible. Okay. I mean, that's not true. You can chain functions without them, but it makes it nice. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so then they're going to use the link to insert planet ID in each query. But okay, so inject variables is a function. Variable name is planet ID. If query requires variable name operation. Where does query requires? Oh, yeah, it uses a helper function. Okay.
All right.
If it requires it, it gets the user query from cache first. Oh, because you've already ran the user query. So now the value's in your cache. So instead of having to do like the round, now I get it. Okay. It's all starting to make sense. So we already have this in the cache. So now our planet ID, I mean, if there was a planet ID attached to the user, right, then we would have a planet ID. And now they're just injecting it into the operations variables.
Okay.
And then it's going to go on to the next link, which is actually going to process the request. And so now that variable will be present.
Interesting. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
I see. I see what
Okay,
you
so
did there.
they're just I see what's happening. They're just attaching the configured variable name on top of the existing operation variables.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And so, yeah, this function. Yeah. You could do a lot of interesting things with that, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. What's next? Oh yeah. Okay, I see. They're just so in a case like this, planet ID would be automatically pulled from the user query.
Yeah. Any query that's going to request that planet ID, it will now pass through that link. It will see that it requires planet ID, will grab it from the user in the cache, and then add it as a variable to this operation. So like when they actually run this query, they don't have to pass the variables and put in planet ID because it will get auto-populated for them.
Okay.
And so here's that function, which is they're going to look at the operation, query definitions. So if the variable definitions contain that variable name, and the variable name in this case is planet ID, but this function you could essentially reuse for any type. So yeah, see if its planet ID is defined. That's cool. I wish he would show an example of then executing the query afterwards.
I think
like
it sounds like in that case you would just
you
it
wouldn't
would be
add
like
variables.
what you would do is it would look similar to option 2 but without the first query.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And no, and yeah, like you said, no variables passed in.
Yeah, like we don't. Yeah, you would expect to get it back, but you wouldn't need this part.
Yeah, you could just say use query planet, and that would be it.
What would be interesting is, like, if I wanted to skip based off of this,
Mm. I think in this
I
case
guess,
you wouldn't
yeah.
because you'd always have a planet
Oh,
ID. The
right,
skip
right,
in this
right.
case is to prevent this query from firing while your user
You're right.
query is loading.
Good call. Yeah. Okay, cool. That was really
Very
awesome.
interesting. Cool post. Definitely
Can I
check it
link
out.
it?
There's no throw a
Nope.
link in chat and
Doing it now.
oh okay, yeah, there we go. Um, yeah, have a read if this topic is interesting to you. We definitely just skimmed over the whole thing. There's plenty more
Yeah.
content in there if you
Oh
want to
yeah.
have a closer look. But it's a pretty cool, interesting pattern.
Yeah, I am actually going to boop and boop. That's because it was great. All right. So let's go back and yeah. And look, there's us announcing that. I think that's good. You know, I think that was a nice place to wrap up, right?
I
But look,
agree.
that's
Yeah,
us.
I feel. Hey, I know that guy.
Heyo.